So,
How are you?
how are you?
Good. Oh, thank you.
Wherever, Bob, it's a little cozy tonight.
I guess I can put it on the old chair.
We have a quorum. We have one representative. Let's get started. It's 7:04. Good evening, everyone. We have a quorum. First of all, any changes to the agenda? Nope, it's the full agenda. Nope. We'll go ahead. Okay, no changes. Thank you. Next, communication from the public on non-agenda items. Is there anyone online that has comments on a non-agenda item? Please raise your hand. No comments from the public.
I have a comment.
Sure, I'm sorry.
I think I was just slow getting my hand up, but good evening. My name is Becky Rapp, and I am here out of concern for the way in which the city's Cannabis Business Division, or the CBD, is proposing to expand the marijuana market. And the department presented to both the CPC as well as the planning commissioners. The planning commissioners was on Thursday of last week, and in their report, they state that it is their intent to expand the market by allowing for additional 36 pot shops, changing zoning regulations, eliminating sensitive use restrictions, and distance requirements. All drastic changes that will significantly impact our communities. Can I keep going?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, okay. So they stated that these amendments are necessary in order to have a thriving program, but I would like to ask the question that the CBD has yet to answer, and in their presentation, and that is, at what expense? They were directed by the City Council to implement a social equity program, but I wonder if the council members intended for the CBD to present a program as radical as this one. I feel like the presentation was one-sided and clearly on the side of the profiteers. But I ask, what about the other side? And I think that's what the public would like to know. It should be required that they present a health study, including information from local hospitals, mental health care professionals. And they should be required to have a report presented by local law enforcement, public health organizations, and statistics showing the impact marijuana has on homelessness. It should be required that scientific data be provided, including statistics on the perception of harm that these products have on young people. So drastically increasing the industry in our city shouldn't be some kind of experiment. We should learn from other large cities. I wanted to tell you that the San Francisco Standard published this last Thursday an article titled "It's a Pause." San Francisco lawmakers unanimously passed a pot shop moratorium. And Tuesday, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to prohibit new marijuana businesses citywide for the next 4 years. The supervisor said that the cannabis industry is struggling with multiple challenges, including oversaturation and competition with the illicit market, as well as criticism over public health concerns. So we too here in San Diego have these same challenges that they're experiencing, a thriving illicit market. So I just please encourage you to speak to your city representative officials to look at these negative impacts and drastic expansion and the impacts that it will have on our community, and learn from other cities that have already taken these steps in this direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Becky. Can I get your last name again, please?
Yeah, it's RAPP, R-A-P-P as in Paul.
Got it. Thank you very much. Any other comments on non-agenda items?
I went to the college area, planning board meeting last night,
Mhm.
and they're getting another, low income housing project going in for 120 units with, 25%, which is 30 units, are gonna be for homeless housing. And and so we had that presentation, and near the end of the meeting, we were all talking about how we'd like to really try and get some balance in what's going on in our community. And not just have everything be low income housing, kidney dialysis, plasma centers, things like that, because those kind of uses, being the only uses, are gonna end up being probably problematic. And so we were talking about the possibility of working collaboratively with our two planning groups and Jim Snyder to work on promoting our neighborhoods and getting advertising and marketing out there that talk about how great we are, all that wonderful things about us, get more news reports that are positive, and also break out the college students from the residents, statistics on their income and different things like that, because right now, the college students' income, which is usually very low or zero because they've got loans or parents are paying, are all averaged in with the incomes of all the residents. And so that drives down, way down, the actual statistics of who's here, who could support certain businesses. So I think that would be something that would be good for us to join in and work on.
Yeah, no, Jim Schneider, he tried to help our communities along University a lot over the last 5 years.
Well, I think all of our communities should be involved with college.
Mhm.
Hey, this is a great neighborhood, and start promoting ourselves.
Yeah.
Where was that development going to be put?
On 73rd and 73rd and I want to say, it's over at the old county building.
Oh, yeah, so beyond 70th Street.
Tall. It's only 1.2 acres. It's gonna be 120 units, so it's pretty high density. So. And they're only gonna have 100 parking places. And so anyway.
Well, I'll take e-bikes. Thank you. Any other comments on non-agenda items? Anyone online? Anyone here? So before we move on to representative report, I just wanted to say hello, Alita. Long time no see, and it's great to see you again.
Thank you. I don't know how long I can stand it, but
Okay,
I'm here.
all right. Thank you very much. It looks like, because I know city council is in a meeting still tonight, that we have one representative here, and that would be Roberto Marin, who's the new District 9 representative. He represents Redwood Village in Rolando Park. Roberto.
Hey, thank you, Lynn. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. Sorry, I am currently driving, so apologies. My name is Roberto Marin. I'm the new community rep for District 9, Shawnee Rivera's office, as mentioned, Redwood Village and Rolando Park, also Choyas Creek and Swan Canyon, and many others. Just want to give a brief introduction to, those who don't know me. I grew up in City Heights off of Altadena on Oklahoma Boulevard, so near the Talmadge area, for about 8 years. And then I moved to La Mesa for another 12. And then soon after, I went to college in Cal State San Marcos. And then soon came back to the city of San Diego and, obviously had an amazing opportunity with District 9 office. I was under the guidance of Marta Zapata, who we dearly love and I still dearly miss. And so I had the honor of, chaperoning and seeing how she, operated. And so it was a great way for me to learn the role. And obviously I just ask that we all be patient with me because this is relatively new for me, but I'm all eyes and ears. Any comments, questions, or concerns, you can go ahead and let me know. One thing I want to emphasize is, sometimes government is tough to work with. And I think we all, have some sort of fashion of how that occurs. And what I want to tell you guys is that I might have good news, I might have bad news, I might have no news. But at the end of the day, I'm going to communicate that to you. I'm going to make sure that you know that I'm working on something. And if there is something urgent needed, then I'm going to have an update, whether it's good or bad, or like I said, no update. And so I'm excited for this role, and I'm pretty stoked to be here. One fun fact I want to throw out, a lot of people don't know, is I'm a cross country and track runner, so I actually know the streets by heart. So that's one of the unique things, is that, while I run, I've seen a lot of things, whether it's, the unsheltered, illegal dumping, how hot it gets in the summer when I'm running and there's no shade on University. So I totally understand that. Yeah. So thank you, Lynn, and excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Roberto. We did get two more representatives here, and up next is Gonzalo Roca Vasquez. I hope I didn't mangle that too bad. Gonzalo is representing State Senator Tony Atkins' office. Tony Duran is out on medical leave. So we're going to have Gonzalo, who showed up at our ice cream social last night. Welcome so much, Gonzalo. Did you have any news to report to us? You're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. So it's just a brief update on the legislative budget. So as you may or may not know, the deadline for the legislature to propose a budget is June 15th. And just a brief update on what the budget's going to look like, or the proposed budget. So I wrote down some notes. No ongoing cuts to core programs, no middle class tax increases. It continues responsible budgeting practices and continues providing historic reserve levels, even while closing a budget gap. And there's $2.1 billion increase for schools and community colleges. And then I just want to reach out and say, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is just my first name, Gonzalo, my last name, Rocha Vasquez, at sen, that's sen.ca.gov.
Okay, I think I've included it on the agenda. It's on the last page. I usually list email addresses, so.
I think Tony Duran's might be on there.
Oh, it might be,
Yeah.
probably. Okay, I'll send it out for anyone that needs it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sam Gonzalez, who represents Assemblymember Dr. Aquila Weber's office, was also at the ice cream social last night. Thank you, Sam, and he does eat ice cream. Hi, Sam.
Hi, is it my turn now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, hello everyone. I'm not in the suit and tie, I'm home. I wanted to be there, but this is also a good option. Any updates? Yes, my name is Sam Gonzalez. I work for Assemblymember Aquila Weber. I'm trying to think if there's anything significant. I think the budget was something we were also going to mention, but since it's already been mentioned once, we can also talk about it at the assembly. But since Gonzalo covered that, I think the other significant update from our office is that we're hosting a backpack giveaway this July 29th at El Cajon Recreational Center. I think the name of it is Ronald Reagan Recreation Center. And, for those that don't know, our office hosts events like these that serve the community, and they vary in theme and purpose. But this year, over summer, you'll see a lot of backpack giveaways. Our office is hosting one. Again, July 29th from 10 a.m. through 1 p.m., I believe, is the time. RSVP should be open this week. So it doesn't guarantee that you'll get a backpack, but it does give us an approximate amount of, who we should expect, how many people. So strongly encourage you guys to let your neighbors know if you have kids, you want a free backpack. The goal of this event is to serve those that need a backpack, but it's open to everyone in the district. It is going to be in El Cajon, so it's a bit far, but it's a good way to connect with our district at a state level. And happy to answer any questions now or later about the state, anything going on. I'll do my best. I'll put my email in the chat. I think it should be in the agenda, as you already stated, so I'll probably won't do that, but yeah.
Okay, thanks, Sam. We have chat disabled for hybrid meetings here, and it's because we're meeting in person. So if you have anything like that, you can email it and we'll distribute it to the everyone here. And Laura Rebo has a question for you.
Hi.
Hi.
There you are, Sam. I'm concerned that there are some bills going through, FB bills going through, and I don't know if they're going to end up in the assembly as well, or if there's matching bills in the assembly. But some of them that are going through, try to put in language that says the bills can never be changed forever and ever and ever. And we cannot have bills like that. Two of the ones that are critical right now are both by Scott Wiener, is it Scott Wiener?
Mhm.
Scott Wiener, he's from San Francisco, and his city is an absolute disaster. And there's no way that he should be putting through bills in perpetuity that can never be changed. So I wanted to give you guys a heads up to please not have any bills like that.
Yeah, I think in response to that, thanks for letting us know. If you have the specific bill list that you would like to, comment, I can type it down now or you can email me later. I'd recommend that this is for any bills really, to let us know via office. I mean, I'll share the message, of course, but it does have an impact when you guys call in and do it throughout the week during 9 to 5 hours. Letting us know in these settings as well is significant. This is something that we've heard over the phone, specifically about some bills from Wiener, but it's good to also know at these meetings that you have these concerns. Anything else I can think of? But yeah, just send me the list if you have it, and I'll pass it on to the team, and we can discuss what the member will do. I know you said, sorry, go ahead.
Is a phone call as good as is an email as good as a phone call, or
Yes,
do
sorry.
they get equal weight?
Yes, they get equal weight. It's just a matter of I think when you phone call in, it's more of like we have to do it then and there. So it's harder for us to forget, right? The only thing I would encourage either via phone or email is making sure you have your first and last name and your phone number attached to it so that we can look you up on our LCMS system and make sure that, if there isn't a way to create a case file, because I don't want to get too technical, but the state has a big LCMS management system. So it's how we manage and track comments from constituents like you for a certain bill. And these come in numbers, and especially in the Senate, I think you guys get 1,000 more than we do. The assembly's small, but it ensures us the ability to track you in terms of like, should we respond to you? Should the bill pass? Should it not pass? That way we can let you know, hey, you expressed concern for this bill. Here's what happened. Here's how we voted. So either via phone or email. I think I said phone because that's how we usually get it, but you can email me too. I'll print it out and give it in our next staff report. They all go through the same process. They all go through our case management system. So it's whatever's easier for you, I think, would be my official answer.
And one quick other question, you mentioned within the 5 hours that the phone calls are available. When is the 5 hour time frame you're talking about?
Did I say 5 hours?
Is it hours before, 5 hours before a bill is supposed to be voted on, or?
Oh, I
Is it
think
5
I
hours
said
before?
9 through 5. I meant like the
Oh.
regular work week. Sorry, no. You can do calls anytime. Sorry, yeah. This
That's
is
okay,
not-
I heard wrong. That's good.
No,
Thank you.
But you bring up a good point. Sorry, I don't mean to make the discussion, but you do bring up a good point. Like, don't call us the day that the bill is being heard. I mean, sorry, you can call us anytime, but call us maybe a day before. That way we can pass the message along. Because if the members are voting on it and you're like, hey, I want the member not to vote on this, we're like, we'll do our best to pass it along, but chances are a decision's been made. So be proactive about any bill, not just this one. And that's just a tip.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Alex?
Yeah,
Alex also has a question for you.
Hi, Sam. This is Alex Zukas. In fact, one of the bills that Laura's referencing is Senate Bill 423. It expands and extends Senate Bill 35 forever. So this is one of the bills that needs to be stopped. And so that's a specific bill 423 from the Senate. It's now in the two House committees. I remember in the Committee on Housing and Community Development and the Committee on Natural Resources. So it is moving to the Assembly, and it, like Laura said, it really needs to be stopped.
Okay,
So
thank
just
you. Okay, thanks, Alex. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, noted.
Okay, thank you very much. Officer Terry Hoskins, did you have a report tonight? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. No, I'm just going to sit and listen and hopefully learn as I try to do at these meetings. And I just appreciate all your effort and all your good work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
I have a question. Aaron?
Oh, sure.
Hi, Officer Hoskins. It's Richard Diaz calling or communicating. we know that Troyes Parkway is a hotspot. And, it's very tiring for people to stop and take pictures of the same people coming back again. Is there some way how SDPD and the city can expedite our calls or not even expedite the get it done, but get it done and then just put Troyes Parkway on the map as a hotspot? I'm not sure if Environmental Services does that with code enforcement, but it's people just get tired of taking pictures and submitting to get it done. And we see the same people popping up and moving from other areas back here, back again. So anyways, if there's some way this could be made a hotspot over here, we would really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, for your input. I actually, sadly enough to say, I think it is a hotspot. I think it's already been identified as that. I don't know. We have so many hotspots anymore, it seems, Richard, that you might as well just put a hotspot all over Mid-City altogether. I know today NPD was out at numerous places. The Rolando College Library there was out today there. They were out on University and El Cajon. I can definitely look into that and add it if it's not, but I'm almost positive it is. Unfortunately, I think the best way to continue is to just, and I know it's tedious and it's a pain, is just to continue to do get it done. If you feel like that it's just being too redundant, the next time someone doesn't get it done, I think you can actually add notes to it and just put, this is redundant, same people are always coming back and that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
I know it's a pain in the ass.
Well, what I've been doing is I have not been taking pictures and submitting them because I've been telling them, look at the record, and I give them the get it done numbers. It's the same thing happening over and over again. So it's a waste of time to take pictures.
Yeah.
So that's the way I do it. I actually reference the previous get it done numbers, so they're on the record.
Got it. Well, that's the way, and you can always, if you feel like they're not being done, or if they're have been closed out, and you don't feel like they've been done, either you can send them to me and I'll send them up to NPD directly and say, hey, tell me what's up. Or you can do that anyways. Just send me the number and I'll send it up to them and say, hey, what's going on with this particular get it done request, and do that if that would help.
Okay,
No, okay.
thank you. Roberto, did you have a comment to make on that?
Yeah, so thanks, Terry, for that guidance. Just want to add that I am very aware of the Troyes Parkway being a issue. Martha and I have worked on that. We do have a list. Our office compiles a list and we send them to HSDD and to ESD. And we basically can compile that list, and that is sent by Naveed Harris, who's the policy advisor on the homelessness front in our office. And we send that out definitely. For example, I'll give a good example. Under the 94 West on Home, that has been a ginormous nightmare. Just today, I flagged it about a week and a half ago, and it got cleaned up in a week and a half, which is pretty remarkable because things do take time. And so if you flag it for us, and again, I'll reiterate what Terry mentioned, keep getting get it done reports. And look, I know it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating, and it frustrates me and it frustrates all of us in the office. But more importantly, we're here to help. If you just let us know, hey, Robert, it came up again, I'll immediately flag that to ESD and HSSD. So again, if you let me know, it can get expedited very fast. And just want to leave you guys with that note, okay? Thank you.
I do know, Richard, that here lately, it's not necessarily been a neighborhood policing division issue for the delay. I think there's been some discussion with contracts and stuff with ESD, because they normally have there's a partnership between NPD and you probably know all this already, Richard, but partnership between NPD and they have their own cleaning crew that ESD gives them. Brian actually gives them to utilize and they roam together, right? They've been short on cleaning crews, so I think that may have been some issues, but I think that's been resolved from what I understand. I mean, they've been cleaning last week and this week. So I know last week we were at 6650 Montezuma and they came out the same day. So just let me know if it's if you think it's something that needs to be, or send me those lists of numbers you have. And I don't see get it done, but they do. And I can contact them directly and ask what's going on. So it's up to
Okay.
you, my friend.
Okay, thanks, Terry. Roberto, could you make a quick comment and then we need to move on, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no worries, Lynn. Yeah, so actually in the budget that just passed yesterday, we did secure funding for more abatement teams for the ESD. We secured about, I want to say, I believe about a couple more full-time positions. And so that definitely would speed it up, but just want to reiterate too, if there's any sort of report, please email me that. I'll send an email to Lynn to share my contact info. But that has definitely helped out. The response has been very more, how do I say, it's been more steady and more assertive into their responses. I had a meeting with ESD and they were compiling data how they've been going through encampments more and more effectively. So yeah, again, just let me know.
Okay, thank you, Roberto. We temporarily have lost a picture of us again. So we're still going to move on. Next up is Bruce Williams from Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepp's office.
Hi, greetings
Bruce.
all. Bruce Williams, the Council President of the Monica Montgomery Stepp's office. Always good to be with you. I'm going to be short and sweet tonight. I'm passing out a couple of passing out some newsletters from the office. Please feel free to look at those, and if there are any questions on here, feel free to that's always one of the folks know that the council is available for office hours. She does that on Fridays. If you need to meet with her regarding issues concerning the street or neighborhood or the city, give us a call and we can make arrangements for you to meet with her. As you know, yesterday the council passed the budget, and I wanted to share a couple of things that came in the May by that affect first, I think Mr. Neal, you probably already knows about 17,000 for the Middle Park Library. Funding is allocated to reduce project funding gap and to cover additional grant expenditures. Also, Choice Creek Oak Park Trail, $2.1 million funding is allocated to fully fund the project based on the engineer's estimates. And also in the May revised, wasn't in the original budget, is the Freewood Drive improvement phase 2, which is $2 million. And those were funding is allocated to partially close the funding gap and support design and construction.
Okay.
Also, phase 1, we've not forgotten about phase 1 of Street View that came up last month, and I did get something back from Rania, who says that VCOM signs will be implemented temporarily so that it will allay community perceptions of speeding around the existing roundabouts until phase 2 is implemented. Now, as part of the problem, the speeding around the roundabout, so they'll put some VCOM signs there. Hopefully that will reduce the speeding until the other phase 2 is completed. And once that's done, then hopefully that will slow down the speed. Those are things I have today. There's also, I don't want you to just really feel bad, but there was some budget allocations for Guttle Boulevard in the Worcester area. That's all I have. If there are any questions, thank you for the invitation. I believe the council member will be at the event
On Saturday, yes.
Saturday. So thank you for the invitation. We'll be there, and see, there's some other Juneteenth events that are taking place in the district. In fact, there's one on that Monday. It's going to be the mayor will actually be there, I'm told. We actually signed the Juneteenth resolution that actually makes it an official holiday in the city of San Diego. So a lot of the first senior students and new council members will be here. Are there any questions for me?
I just wanted to say thank you to the council member and to Ariel for getting the Juneteenth celebration of Choice Lake in the newsletter.
Yes.
For us. It's yes, that's great. Thank you so much for that. All right. Thank you, Bruce. I believe that's it for our representative reports. And we're moving on. Our first we have one information item tonight, and that's about the Fairmount Fire Station. It's the environmental impact report update. And with us, it's not Raf, it is Paul Simons. Paul?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to spend a few minutes with you. I thought I would just take an opportunity to introduce myself, kind of what I'm doing here, and then I've got a very brief deck that I can roll through just to kind of get everybody up to speed. I note that there are about 15 minutes allotted on the agenda. I don't think it'll take quite that long. Again, my name is Paul Simons. I work for a firm up here in Orange County, of all places. I always love spending time in San Diego, and it's been a fun ride the last year and a half or two on this particular project. Our firm basically helps businesses and private entities get stuff done through local government. And so it was a couple of years ago, we received a call from the Legionland Mobile Villas there's this issue with a fire station and we don't know what's going on, and they're going to build it next week, and we didn't know anything about it. And we said, well, okay, time out, let's figure all this stuff out. And we did, and we jumped in with both feet, and it's been quite a process to get where we are today. But I think it's a really good story to tell, given sort of the pathway that we've been on. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, as you know, Legionland Mobile Villas is located there near you all at 47th Street and 47th Street. The folks have owned the property for about 100 years. It's adjacent to the Choyas Creek itself. And it's a senior mobile home park. It's a beautiful location right next to some open space. A couple years back, they received word by way of a notification that was stapled to a telephone pole outside of the community that the city had planned to build a fire station in this open space. That caught them off guard, and they were really trying to figure out what was going on. The fire station itself is still, being contemplated. It's still on the docket, if you will, at the city. You're looking at about a 13,000 square foot facility. It's a beautiful facility, and it really is speaking to a need that the fire department has identified that, as it relates to response times in this part of town and really their strategic plan to build more fire stations in the area. As we kind of dug deeper into the issue, I would offer up that there are probably other locations that make a whole lot more sense than this location itself. You'll notice right there at Fairmount, right there at the open space, right in the middle of all of that green area along 47th Street is where the city is planning to build this fire station. I would note that 47th Street, that winding road that kind of dips down and into that senior mobile home park, is the only and exclusive road, the only ingress and egress for the folks who live in that community. There are no sidewalks in that area that along the street there. And it really, from a noise and a traffic standpoint, could be problematic, but more importantly, from an environmental standpoint. And really, that's what we leaned into as we started, uncovering sort of the process that the city had taken in moving this fire station forward. The location itself, as you just saw, is on a steep slope. It's an environmentally sensitive area directly adjacent to a multi-habitat and planning area. There are a number of endangered wildlife and sensitive receptors. That's not me speaking, that's DUDEC and other environmental organizations. The project would be inconsistent with San Diego's Mid-Cities Community Plan, which was adopted in 1998, which says canyon, hills, and creekside natural wildlife habitats from urban encroachment really need to be protected. And this would really fly right in the face of that effort. This is a document or a slide from San Diego Public Works. You'll notice the shaded area is the footprint of the proposed fire station. It's right in the middle of a riparian forest multi-habitat planning area. And this other CHP really speaks. Yes.
Paul, could you wait 1 second? We lost our connection.
Oh, goodness.
And it's.
I was going quick too. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm just sitting here enjoying this picture of the landscape slide, and no one else can see it.
Oh goodness. Should I back up for you?
If you don't mind, and let me just fix this.
Let me know when you're ready.
Paul, I think we can see it. I think it's just the people at the facility itself.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. All right, thank you.
No problem, Lynn. Did you hear anything that I was rambling on about, or did we get cut off completely?
No, we just lost the visual on it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Well, I think this is the piece I was getting at. This shows that the city had planned to drop this fire station right in environmentally sensitive areas. And really and truly, that was what led our efforts to engage and really build a much broader coalition. And our ask was really, and has been consistently, look, is this the best location? We engaged the Sierra Club, the folks at the Choyas Creek Coalition, the folks, really and truly anyone and everyone who has an interest from an environmental perspective, and everyone was in agreement that there are other locations that seem to make sense. What we also discovered was that the city had not completed any environmental review in this process, none. They had really planned to move forward with the development without really doing what they would require of any private developer building anything of this nature. So our request to the city was really, hey, listen, if this is where the fire station needs to go, then we encourage you to complete a full environmental impact report to prove out that this does make sense. An environmental impact report would do a lot of things. Number one, it would lay out the mitigation measures that the city would have to embrace to build a facility of this nature at this location. From my perspective and my client's perspective, it would also unearth any alternative locations that would make sense for the development of a fire station in this community, something that the city had really not engaged in from our perspective. This process started for us back in June of 2020. It's kind of been ongoing for quite a while. For the first year or so, it was all about engaging our local city council offices, former city council member Marty Emerald, again, building that coalition between Groundworks and the Sierra Club and the Choyas Creek Coalition. And initially, I will say, we were met really with, if you have the old Heisman Trophy, kind of a stiff arm from the city. They really weren't interested in engaging in the conversation. So we went ahead and started telling the story in the press. The San Diego Union Tribune ran a story, NBC San Diego came on out. And really at that point, folks started to pay attention. I would also say we have Roberto from District 9. When Councilmember Elo Rivera took office, really that was a pivotal moment in this timeline. Councilmember Elo Rivera really spoke to community outreach and engaging the community in projects of this nature. And I will tell you all that he has absolutely held true to that commitment of his his campaign commitments in that way. He heard from the community, the environmental folks, and really gave us an ear to say, you know what, this does make sense. You're not trying to outright kill a fire station or say the fire station's bad. What you're doing is you're saying, hey, City of San Diego, prove out that this does indeed make sense. And so in July of 21, we really kicked in our efforts, really in concert and in council with Elo Rivera's office. And we met with every single council office. And not anybody really questioned our logic or suggested that we were out of line in saying that the city should engage in environmental review, especially at this particular location. You can kind of see how the timeline has unfolded thereafter. This is a little bit more of the timeline. And I'm happy to report today that in recent months, that the city has come full circle on this thing. The city went from, we don't, be quiet, you guys, I don't care what you have to say, we need to build a fire station, deal with it. We went from there to today, really led by Councilmember Montgomery Stepp in her office, and Councilmember Elo Rivera, really demanding that the city and that the administration do the right thing and engage in environmental review. So where we are today is that the city has set aside dollars in the budget. The Active Transportation and Infrastructure Committee in April voted unanimously to recommend earmarking those dollars to complete an environmental impact report. The City Council voted unanimously in May to move forward with the environmental impact report. And here we are today, we're full steam ahead.
I'm going to stop you one more time because we're back. We need to go back one slide when we get our connection back. Sorry, we are having an issue tonight because they're having a conference here at our host, and they have about 150 people all using the internet here tonight. So we keep getting bounced a little bit. So if you could just give us a couple of minutes and hopefully we'll get back on here. Sorry about that.
Sure, no problem. Let me know when you want me to proceed and I'll kind of back up a little bit.
Okay, thanks. If I have one meeting that doesn't have some kind of cliffhanger pitch, it'll be an amazing meeting some night.
From this perspective, it looks like quite a few of the guests are actually moving the building.
Yeah. I hope. Yeah, you think? We're gonna have to go get the IT guys, so we're gonna have a momentary pause.
Oh, yeah.
Three times the possibility of the conversation. Because it's not yeah, and then have to go up and then have so I'm just why you're so spent on yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's a good one. At least, with all the environmental impacts, bad.
I mean, I've been.
And the different,
Fighting us since 2020.
we were fighting before that in our eastern area. When they first announced it, nobody was going nuts from
Yeah.
Sasha, when you first heard about it. Long time ago.
And we'll be here. Be a couple minutes, Paul.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Did we start asking questions of Paul?
If you have questions now, I really only had one other slide, and it was simply a timeline of what an EIR would look like over the next year and a half or year or so. So
Sure.
there isn't a lot more to the presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions. I think the bottom line is that, you know, it's taken a little while to get here, but where we are today is that the city has adopted this policy of completing an EIR for this fire station, and that's the direction that they are going. And that effort is really going to be kicking off here in the next 6 weeks or so. And then you're looking at, you know, 12 to 18 months before the report to get done.
I'm in the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
So
Yeah, they could see it. We just can't see anything here is the issue.
So can I start with a couple?
Yeah, if you're ready for some questions, Danielle has a question for you.
So
Sure.
Two.
When is the scoping meeting for the EIR? Has that already been?
We don't know yet. It hasn't been scheduled. What has happened is that the Dudek is going to be the firm that is going to be completing the EIR. They are finalizing the contract with Dudek right now, and then they will announce when the scoping meeting will take place. As soon as that is done, we will communicate that out to the community.
Thank you. And the second question is, are you familiar with the Joyous Creek Oak Park Trail project?
I am very much so. We've been working with Leslie Reynolds and the folks at the Joyous Creek Coalition. Really not only on that trail and the whole park system there in the city, but, you know, we've contemplated some alternative uses for this particular location instead of a fire station that could really perhaps enhance that whole system.
Okay, and there's a follow-up.
Does someone else have their laptop on? Okay.
As a follow-up, is the proximity of that trail going to be looked at by the people at the at EIR?
I didn't quite get the question. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So since the trail is going to be close, or you were looking at alternative uses for the parcel that was picked out for the fire station? Is that trail, proposed trail going to also be looked at by Dudek in the EIR?
I would tend, I think that's a good question and something that we will unearth during the scoping meeting, but I don't, my gut and my instinct is probably not. I would imagine that they will stay narrowly focused on sort of the mitigation measures and alternative locations for the fire station itself. But that's certainly something that we will lean into and you know, and figure that piece out as we move forward.
Okay, so I'll just wait and ask that question at the scoping meeting then. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hands up, Kristen.
Well, it's not really related to environmental, but it's more a question about cost. I mean, I am wholeheartedly in opposition to the fire station there because of environmental reasons, but is there any answers as to why the city is willing to spend about 3 times the amount on this fire station than it would cost to build one somewhere else?
I don't have a good answer for you. It's a good question that is better posed to city officials. I have the same question. And in fact, you know, when I took this project on, that was probably my main focus. I quickly pivoted to the environmental concerns. I don't have a good answer for you. I do know that the design of this fire station was very expensive. I would also offer this up, that the land was purchased really back when Councilmember Marty Emerald was on council, and I will be somewhat careful in how I convey this. I would just say that the land was purchased, and they felt as though it was a very good deal. It was purchased for the purpose of building a fire station. And I'm not so sure that the folks who made that decision fully contemplated or understood the constructability issues at this particular location. I'm sure you folks are familiar with the area that we've talked about and here. That slope drops way down. The amount of dirt work, the amount of foundational issues that are just needed to build the fire station itself, very, very expensive. Also, this project had been in the works for a number of years, really pre-COVID. I mean, since then we've had COVID, and we've had supply chain issues, and we've had inflation, and we've had all the other headaches we all deal with. The cost that the city initially foresaw for this project, it's about 4 or 5 times the amount today. So it's much more expensive than was originally thought. And one of the main reasons is the location itself. And that too is something that I think is probably a question better suited for the policymakers.
And I just have one other comment. I live just a couple blocks away from the proposed site. And back in 2000, I want to say 13, right where the entrance would be into the fire station from mock-ups that I've seen, there was a giant sinkhole in the street there. And I'm not sure what caused it, but I just thought that people should be aware that that happened in that area.
And just, this is not part of the presentation, but you reminded me in noting that reality. Additionally, you have a high pressure natural gas line there in the area that's going to need to be moved, and you have overhead power lines in the area that are going to need to be moved. So when you start talking about costs and constructability issues, again, a sinkhole is, from a historical perspective, it's just a very problematic location from my perspective. And instead of jumping up and down and saying, don't build it here because it's bad, I would say, speaking out of the other side of my mouth, I would commend the city for embracing this policy of engaging in a full environmental review, so that all of these issues can be brought to the surface, and the city would have to make a decision, an educated decision on moving forward.
Thank you for all your work. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. Do we have any other questions?
Just a comment.
Sure, Elita.
Thank you for your presentation. I had actually worked with your co-work or co-team working on this project. When I first started working on the project with the groundworks and
Leslie? No.
Talking about Linda Kaufman?
From
Oh,
Linda.
yeah, Linda Kaufman.
Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to make absolutely sure that we live on sacred land. This is a Kumeyaay land. Even though we all own our properties or whatever, to me, because I am Native American myself, I always bring it up for us not to forget what this land is about. This is the First Peoples land originally. And as far as I'm concerned, we still live on borrowed land. So I wanted to make absolutely sure that the city considers and looks at that as well, because it is the last open land that we do have here that we must conserve and take care of.
I
Thanks
really
for a great
truly,
job.
I appreciate you raising that point. We've engaged the Kumeyaay folks on this particular issue. They have not really engaged on it. So as we move forward, And really and truly, today there is no ask of this organization. I really wanted to just give you an update and let you know kind of where things stand. If there is any ask of you, it is that I ask that you stay at the table and engaged as the EIR process unfolds. From my perspective, an EIR is problematic in that we're about to go into a dark period. As the work really begins to happen, there isn't going to be anything for us to really tell you. The folks have to do the review and the study and put the report together. There's obviously the scoping meeting, but at the end of the day, you know, we're a number of months out from really re-engaging this group and others to weigh in on the report itself once it's in a draft form. And ideally, at that time, the Kumeyaay tribe would be able to engage as well and offer their perspective on the report and the potential build out of this fire station. But thank you very much. That's not lost on us, and it's something that we hope to lean into as we move forward.
Yeah, well, I was the one who helped Rob get me to those contacts myself.
Okay.
And if there's any need for further assistance, I'll be happy to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alita. We have one hand up online, Mario.
Yes, hi, thank you very much. Now, one little question. I haven't been able to find the answer to this, so maybe someone there might know, or Paul. I'm not sure if your work is involved looking at any other sites, but the police shooting range are moving, and the animal shelter, the canine unit has moved. And I'm just wondering what the city has planned for that land, because that sure would be a lot easier to use. That's all.
Mario, thank you for that. From our perspective, you know, it's one of these things where I've really tried to be disciplined in our focus. We have those particular issues have been raised in the past. We've been encouraged to sort of push the city into alternative locations. But at the end of the day, you know, this is a city capital improvement project. It's a city project, and they need to make the decisions that, you know, and defend them and figure out what makes the most sense. Yes, the firing range, I forget the other one, but those are opportunities perhaps that would make better sense for a fire station. From our perspective, our message was, listen, this particular location seems problematic. Here is what we see, and we haven't reinvented the wheel. All we've done is really bring out the issues that the city has put forward. The city shows documents that says the fire station's built in environmentally sensitive land. And we say, if that's the case, why are you not doing a full environmental review? It's a very simple question. And the city has basically said, you're right, we need to do that. And that has been our focus and our push. Again, I commend Montgomery Steppe and Ayla Rivera in their leadership on that effort. In terms of pivoting to, gee whiz, city, build it over here or over there or at this location or at that location. When we start to do that, we start to splinter our message, and I think we're weaker in that sense. So staying really disciplined and focused on, listen, this is problematic. You need to hold yourself to the same standard you would of any private developer at a minimum, and that has held true. Now we have to really engage and trust this process with this report. And so, Mario, it's a good point. And I think directly your question is, what does the city have planned? I have no idea. That really hasn't been our focus, and we're going to continue to hold the line where we're heading.
Okay, thank you. Richard, have you heard anything about what the city plans there?
Well, we can talk offline about this. I mean, Paul presented at the Choice Creek Coalition, correct?
Yes.
And yeah, so there's really some very good information. So I'll get, you know, I have my ears open for that, and
Okay.
I'll update people at appropriate time when asked. Paul, I'd like to get offline or get your phone number, because I've been doing parallel research on ownership, and it's kind of curious the timeline you put up. And I'm kind of interested in seeing who was where at that time. You mentioned Marty Emerald, but there's a lot of stuff that happened after that. But if we can communicate, we'll work through Leslie. And,
no, that's fine. And I think Roth, I know that Lynn had been working directly with my colleague Roth, and you know, Roth is my right hand on this project. So, you know, reaching out to him and that communication's easy. So I'm happy to engage and be helpful to where I can.
I can send you those email
Okay,
addresses.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so
Really
much
good
for the
information
opportunity, and
items
I
tonight.
look forward to working with you all moving forward. Have a good evening and a good rest of your meeting.
You too. Thanks. Thank you very much, Paul. Hopefully, at this point, we don't need to see our screen anymore. Thank you. Good night. All right. So if it goes down again, we're actually pretty much okay because everything else are action items for us. We won't need a screen. First action item, number 1, appoint Redwood Village representative to fill a vacancy. I think everyone should have seen Tanner's resignation a few weeks ago. He had some issues coming in person because he had childcare issues at night. And once we had to go back to in person, he couldn't stay on. And unlike most times when we have a vacancy, we actually have someone who's interested in being on our board. And we're not out pounding the pavement or groveling or begging or. So if he's interested, Mr. Hogan has fulfilled the attendance requirements. He represents Redwood Village, and maybe you'd like to tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, with my wife Jennifer, we've lived in Redwood Village since 2010. And I actually lived in Redwood Village in the 80s. White Street for a few years also. So know this area of the city pretty well. And in my life, I'm an artist, and I don't know, I like things going out in the wilderness, and really passionate about environmental concerns in the neighborhood, and also in a broader sense, making sure that the mid-city area is treated equitably by the city government and people who work with the city. I think our neighborhoods generally tend to be forgotten when it comes to structure and sort of the nice things that the city should be providing. So I am passionate about advocating on the behalf of all of our neighborhoods.
Works for me. Thank you.
One side.
Very well said. So this would be to finish Tanner's time, which would be till September. And then we would be voting again for not quite a full 2-year term because we're trying to get back to our March timeline. So this will be to fill a 3-month spot. And then you'd be running for re-election again already. So can I have someone make a motion that we appoint John to fill Tanner's position?
So moved.
And second? Okay, so Laura made the move. Kristen, Danielle seconded. Just need a name. Sure. Okay. All right. It's a roll call vote. Bob?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Alex?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Danielle?
Yes.
Alita?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
You better not say.
Driver.
Kristen?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Lorna?
Yes.
And would say yes if I would. Thank you, John. Officially on the Eastern area. And your first duty will be to take the training as soon as we get the link.
Yeah. I watched.
You watched part of it.
Last night.
Okay.
I
Thank
work at
you.
the ice cream social.
That was
Painting myself.
the easiest action item tonight.
What's
So
your last name?
Hogan, John Hogan.
Hogan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Action item 2, we need to have an election committee again for the September election. People who cannot be on the committee, myself, Kristen, Richard, Lorna, I believe.
Because you're all up for election.
We're all up for election. And I might be thinking of one or two more, but, so I need at least 2 people. And you probably want to think about starting to recruit soon if you go outside the community, because they would need to attend meetings, in order to be on the September ballot. So, yeah. So just, don't be shy. Somebody, 1 or 2 people. I prefer that it not be Jennifer since she just, and Kristen since they just did it, and well, you can't anyway. So a couple people, won't be hard. I'll send you the names,
Can't do it right because I'm.
right, because you're gonna be up for election. Good to see.
Your people.
We're lucky not to be you since you just did it, and we appreciate that. Could be Bob, Alex, Andy, Danielle, Alita, Laura. So 2 people, that's it. No volunteers? Seriously? Okay. Thank you. All right.
I was gonna say, I cannot run and volunteer.
No, you can't. No, you really can't. So, okay. Thank you. It's really not too painful.
There's not really much to do.
No, although this one you will want to get a statement of qualifications from people who are running. I'll send you a little checklist, but
We're supposed to have much more outreach to the community as a whole from now on.
yeah,
So it will be more involved, probably been done before. They're trying, that's one of the new criteria for our plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to compare, like the meeting last night, the diversity of our committee against the diversity of our area.
Right.
So, well,
We need to get that back.
yeah, it's on the city website. I would
And they're trying to get younger people involved, but the catch is that a lot of times people think they're interested. They come to a meeting, they're not interested in building and planning issues. It's very funny how they cycle out. So,
It's the same.
all right.
College.
yeah.
Lynn, may I ask a question?
Yes, of course, Terry.
What exactly are you asking for volunteers for? I'm kind of lost.
I need someone to run the election committee. We have to have elections in September, for half the board roughly.
Okay.
So it works better if there's 2, but if we don't get a second volunteer, Alex can handle it pretty much.
You are bylaws allow top members of the parliament to be on this.
Okay. And it has to be from the board, correct? You're
I don't think so. Because we're gonna be asking outside, doing community outreach to try and get people from other community, from our communities to join. Are you volunteering?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not trying to say as a last resort, but if
But Terry, it is.
I'm always willing to help, and I don't really give any input here at this meeting. I don't think I should at this particular meeting unless someone has a question. So, but yeah, I'd be happy to assist. Who would be running it?
Alex.
Okay, yeah, if
Alex and
that's
Terry.
what I wouldn't mind.
Okay. I think we can do that. I know that you know how to do some outreach in the community, Terry. So if you could help us solicit people who would like to join the board, that would be great.
Lynn, could you tell us the areas that are open? El Cerrito's open because that's my spot, right? What are the
Yes,
other areas?
I'll have to look them up. Kristen's running, so there's a Webster position.
Okay.
I'm on it, and there's actually 2 positions in Rolando Park because we haven't been able to fill one of them since Catherine Kern left.
Yeah, same with Rolando.
And you have a vacancy, Richards.
We're okay.
No, I mean, yeah, but you have 3 spots, so Richards up for re-election. Sorry?
Is that the Oak Park area?
Yes.
There's a
okay.
vacancy for a still.
No,
No, we're,
No, I'm sorry.
no, there's
He's up for three.
three here, yeah.
Yeah.
You're up for reelection.
So that's-
Yeah.
So we're looking for 5 new members.
Four. Well, yes, and John,
Yeah.
although I don't think anyone wants to run against John since he just got. appointed.
how about Daryl? Daryl,
I was gonna ask.
I have to ask Daryl, I haven't been able to, I didn't get a response from him.
He's Webster, right?
Yes,
No.
no,
Kristen's up for reelection.
yes,
December, is Daryl still supposedly good for another year?
I have to look it up. I'm not
Sounds
sure
like
about
it.
Daryl.
They're
Yeah.
usually.
They're
not on the
usually
same-
not at
Yeah,
the
they're
same
opposite
time.
Years.
Okay. All right, thank you, Alex and Gary. I'll send you the information. It's gonna be pretty straightforward. I'll even help you do the ballots if you need getting the ballots prepared for it. And to go along with more volunteer opportunities, we need 6 people to volunteer to take minutes for the June through November. Because we'll be dark in December. And if you don't volunteer, my dog is going to draw names out of a hat. So- It's a new trick.
I want to see that.
It's a fetch trick. So,
I'll do July.
I'll do August. Then I'll do a month, but I gotta.
Is June still open? You said?
yes,
I'm just taking notes on June.
okay.
We get to also look at the tape, right?
Yeah, I'll send you, you get a list of participants from the Zoom meeting. And I'll send you the video. We won't have chat files anymore. But yeah, you'll get a link to the video so you can rewatch the whole thing.
Okay. We'll do.
Then I'll do November.
Okay. So we need September and October. And Richard, you're excluded.
I'll be 2024.
One of us could be about October.
Okay, I'll just say Jennifer or John will do October, so the only month is September left to fill.
I'll do September. I'll put it again.
All right. If anyone can think of a more equitable way to do this, please let me know. No one wants to ever be the secretary.
Hard position.
It's been a problem for our board.
It's same thing.
Other boards too.
Every board that I'm on, no one ever wants to be the secretary.
Is it called that because the city?
Sure, it's not bad.
Yeah,
They don't call it that anymore.
No.
And maybe that's why.
you think it's because it doesn't sound.
They call it the admin assistant.
That's
Well,
right.
that's true, but until the city catches. it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Come on, city.
Okay, thanks. So thanks, everyone. That's.
I've got a suspicion it's still gonna stay as vacant as secretary does.
So, I can send it out with the minutes next time. Can do a little list. Or I can give you a reminder at each meeting that you're doing it. And if you can't suddenly find that your plans change, then maybe you can find someone else to swap with.
It is easier than it used to be.
Yes, yeah, it really
You know,
is.
we have a temp.
Yep,
That's good.
well, sort of.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Our next action item, we're going to look at a proposal from Groundwork to provide some free website and contact management tools for our planning group. They are doing this for, is it the choice planning group that they're already considering doing that, Kristen? So Kristen, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay. I would like to say hi also to Ramon. He's here from Groundwork. So thank you for joining our meeting tonight. We really appreciate it. So Leslie, who is the director of Groundwork, has received a grant, and she is looking for volunteers who are interested in being able to help support your neighborhood community council And so there is money for a website building, if you don't already have a website for your community council, as well as some classes that are going to be offered. I believe it's one Saturday a month and maybe one evening a month. The details haven't completely been laid out to myself yet, but it would be meetings that would help you learn how to do outreach to your community. There's also information about how to create communication through Constant Contact, which is a website. I don't know if you're familiar with Constant Contact or like a MailChimp. So if anybody is interested in this opportunity, or anybody that you know of from your community council, you can go ahead and connect with them.
Some of us have websites already, but I think there are three communities in the eastern area that don't have a website, and maybe this would be an opportunity to take a, if you want to do it. It's pretty straightforward. Will they get some support from like Ramon to set up a website?
Yeah, I don't know if you have anything that you would like to add to the conversation at all, Ramon. Hi.
Hi, Ramon.
There's a jet passing through me right now. Oh, not through me, but
And
yeah, so basically what we're trying to do is just provide some tools that y'all would be able to use regarding either outreach purposes or even just to put yourselves out there. So it's like to create a website, and also Constant Contact is a marketing tool, and it's both so GoDaddy and Constant Contact are drag, and you can edit by dragging and editing it. You can make it personal to your community as well. But if y'all have any questions, y'all can always reach out to me, and Lynn can pass my information as well. And I'd be more than happy to speak with y'all. Oh, did they drop? Oh, y'all froze a little bit.
yeah, we can't even see you. I can see you, but not everyone can. So we actually did have a little bit of a conversation about potentially using it for our planning group.
Yes.
And since we are talking about community plan update, it might be beneficial to us to have a website where we can post information about the community plan update, store files, things like that that can be shared with the public.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess that'd be better.
There's also a stipend that's going to be offered as well. I'm not 100% sure on the amount, but
Yeah, if you're talking about the resident leadership fellowship, that would be a 4-month plan, and it would be on the third week on a weekday, and then on the 4th week of the month it would be on a weekend, and it'd be 2 hours. We're thinking of also doing it virtually, and there would be a stipend. If I'm not mistaken, it is a $500 stipend. And we're still working out the logistics, and we're gonna start recruiting as well. So if y'all have anyone that might be interested in, trying to roll out green infrastructure projects, or just bringing the concerns of the community, it'd be a good way to start as well.
Okay, so we'll talk about that when we get the flyer, because that's a whole different project, I think. Tool wise, the way that Leslie explained this to me is that the grant will cover like the first 2 years of cost to have a website and constant comment. And the point is to make a point to the city that they're underfunding planning groups. And that I think, seeing where we're going and the fact that we're going to have a massive amount of material over the next few years for the plan update, having a website. I know some groups like Kensington Talmadge, I believe they have a website. Normal Heights has a website because they have either a MAD or a bid, and they put that information up. We don't have that. but we should have a repository where we can share information with our communities, particularly about the updates. Maybe, I mean, I think we can do surveys, you know, of that kind of outreach where we can talk with our communities. So anyway, I think it's.
We're talking to Jim Snyder about, oh, because there is a little snip of a bid up on Open Boulevard, who's house. There's always been talk of how we start one.
Well, the city doesn't do bids anymore, though. They only do MADs. So.
I don't know if there's any value reaching out to the little bit of, the history.
I think you should come to the meeting tomorrow night, or, you know, come to the joint meetings, and see, because we will have a representative there from the Normal Heights Business Association and the El Cajon Boulevard Business Association. So Jim should think about joining us. I asked him if he would, I asked David Modi to ask Jim.
Okay.
But, so let's go back to tools again. So I just want to make sure that everyone thinks this is a good idea. I think, you know, I think even if Groundworks grant runs out in 2 years, our stipend from the city would cover us having our own website, domain name, and enough storage area to keep all of our documents and things.
Yeah, I think, Lynn, based on what I remember from the training last night, the city is going to expect planning groups, in fact, to have a website, be able to put up their own agendas. And the city said they'll still do it, but they want the planning groups doing it themselves too.
Of course, and one of the things I mentioned too is that we should, for $25 a year, we should get a domain registration and have our own name attached to our website. That just really sort of brands us. And I think it's a good step forward for us. So if there's any other question?
Yeah, can I ask for, especially for those of you who already have websites, there's different, you can buy the domain name from different groups, like GoDaddy. And so we have our domain name already picked out, but we're a little gun shy on, we go with GoDaddy, what's their history? Is there another one? And all the prices are about the same.
We have GoDaddy, it's been good.
So if you're talking about buying, just go with the cheapest one.
Yeah.
You know, they're like $3. So
yeah,
what they're hoping to get you to do is, after you buy a domain, is to use them as your website server.
Your home.
And so that's a different those are two separate things. So the server thing, you can also look for the cheapest price and compare all that stuff, but there's so many different you know, domain name sellers that, you know, I think the last domain I bought, I paid, I think, $2.99.
Oh, I don't know if you get what you pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, you know, really the thing is to find what you know, find if the name is available.
So we'll want to find right away.
You get
Which I
Eastern Area Communities Planning Council of San Diego.
Planning group, I think we probably should think about planning group.
To go as.
Yeah.
Planning committee.
Yeah.
So, you know, check that out first of all and see if it's available in a .com, or and it might be in a .net or a whatever. So many.
It's not that expensive. Any other questions, concerns? If you don't have a website for your community council, I think you should talk to Leslie and Ramon about it. It's a great way to get it set up. You have a website, we have a website.
We do too.
And so 3 of us do, and 3 community, and Webster does not. I know at various times they've been trying. So, okay. Well, would someone like to make a motion?
I move that the Eastern Area Communities Planning Committee work with Groundwork and get a website and a constant contact account so that we can provide information to the community.
Great. Second, Alita. Okay, roll call.
We just got nothing.
Bob,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Danielle, Alita,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Lorna,
Yes.
Mr. Hogan.
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, you're very persuasive. Would you like a video clip of it? Would you like a video clip?
I don't know if they can hear us, but thank you, Groundworks. I think that's awesome.
I did too.
So we can do something up there.
Yes.
I give up at this point.
Okay.
There are people online, but they can hear the audio and we really don't have anything to show on
Okay.
screen anymore at this point. So,
May I ask Kristen a question real quick?
sure.
Kristen, I'm autodidact when it comes to working online. I've built my own website. I was the webmaster for El Cerrito for a long while. But I don't feel like my skills are as proficient as I would like them to be. Do you think I could go to the groundwork thing, or is it really for people that are learning from the ground up?
Oh, it's for, I think, all capabilities. Yeah.
I just want to throw it out, you know, there's a group called, there's an organization called Oasis over at Grossmont Center. And they have training classes, all sorts of training classes for computer, for 55 plus people. That's who their audience is targeted for. And they have a lot, they've been in contact with me. We're gonna see about getting them to be one of our advertisers in our newsletter. You might want to look into it too, for all our communities, because they're a great resource. They have people who know what they're doing, and they offer classes, they offer one-on-one, sit downs, all sorts of good stuff. So I'll send some links to Oasis, and they might be a good place for, since you already know so much, you would be expanding on what you know. They might have a sort of a semi-advanced or advanced class that would be good for you.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate knowing about that.
Yeah, they're really good.
Okay, thanks, Laura. And since we're running behind, we're going to move right on now to action item 5, which is to approve a first draft of the vision statement for the meeting tomorrow night for the Joint Mid-City Communities Plan Update Committee. Boy, that's a mouthful. I'm gonna get an acronym for it right away. So first of all, the guiding principles are not part of the vision statement that we're doing for tomorrow night. And the vision statement is going to be sort of high level. And in the end, what will happen is it'll be a vision statement for all 4 planning groups, not just ours. So what we want to say, and the reason that I asked Laura to put in the Choice Creek Watershed Regional Park, which is a mouthful too, but that probably in all likelihood will not be in the vision statement that's adopted. But I want us to always be thinking about it in this group, because it's going to be such an important part of our plan that whatever comes up, how generic it gets, it's like, yes, but we're talking about the Choice Creek Watershed Regional Park in the Eastern Area Planning. It's always got to be there, and we have to push to make sure it's prominent at the meetings. So it doesn't have to stay in our vision statement, but I would like to take it there tomorrow night, just so people take it out or say it won't. But it's to make a point how important this is going to be in our area. So.
And as you read through the guiding principles, one thing that Lorna brought up was preserving our housing. And I wanted to read, Lynn and I worked back and forth on this, and I tried to capture everything that we had included in the different statements and the guiding principles, and one got left out. And Lorna brought it up saying how important it was, and she's right. So I wanted to read you what we had and what I can add back in really easily. And that is the statement regarding housing. And we want to say that our community, the community envisions maintaining our single residential communities while promoting additional housing and business opportunities with mixed-use development along transit-rich corridors. And we want to fit that language under guiding principles, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
Because
Probably replace number 2.
right, or mix it right into there.
Yeah.
Right, because that was one of the things we did. Well, it's very important to all of us to maintain our residential communities, to try and make sure that we get focus of the densification that they want along the boulevards as much as possible. And also businesses and employment opportunities. When you read through this, you'll see there's employment opportunities. We want habitat protected. We want transit. We want walkability. We tried to include all of it. And last week we had 3 members from the community come to our meeting. And they were really concerned with walkability and transit and trees and parks and so it was a really good meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah, lighting, you know,
Lighting.
because we know that lighting's an issue in some of our, we don't have enough lighting. My comment about the park here is that I wouldn't list the parks that are here because I think it limits it.
Okay.
And there are new parks coming online.
I just said including them.
Yeah, but we will have, I don't want to end up with a list per se, because we approved a pocket park a couple of weeks ago through the Colina del Sol. And it's basically a shoulder on a road.
Yeah,
that's all right.
But you know, it's going to become a park. And Rolando Park, our little right-of-way entrance is going to be a little pocket park as well. So groundwork is looking at little real estate asset spots like this that can become recognized parks maintained by the Park and Rec Department. So I think we should be a little bit maybe more general about this. Yeah, not limit it to just these, because I also know like Sunshine Berardini is going to have some improvements soon.
Yeah, it's listed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I have a
So,
question.
yes.
Or a suggestion. There's some way we can put in here something specifically addressing the maintenance of these things once they're built, like. Because one thing that's like I've noticed the city in my lifetime always likes to build stuff, and once it's done, it's like there's no money to maintain it. And I think that's always really important. Just like when you build something. For years, I worked at Balboa Park, so I was regularly encountering things that were being built, and they would cut the ribbon and walk away, and immediately things would start falling apart. And yeah, for like establishing, somehow mentioned that you need to establish a fund for maintenance, or maybe just in general and more broadly, just that whenever something's built, we try to
infrastructure maintenance.
Maintenance for it in the future.
That's a good.
Aside
that.
No, that's a good phrase. Infrastructure maintenance.
Yeah. Where
They
build
it, there's no maintenance.
Yep.
Ample infrastructure, and then somehow get maintenance.
Yeah, the funds to maintain it in the future.
Okay. What else?
I'm really concerned about some of the stuff the city's been doing around sustainable development areas and transportation corridors, and they are going to allow development in areas where bus stops are planned, right? And I think we should be very careful about that, because we all know the city runs out of money and it doesn't build. Sandbag runs out of money. Those bus stops are never going to get built. I don't think they should allow building unless the stop actually already exists.
Well, that's something that we could talk about maybe in
the joint,
yeah,
or at a subcommittee, yeah. So
the city is notorious. First, they used to talk about having infrastructure in place before they had development. Then they said that they realized they really couldn't fund it that way because of DIP fees and everything. So they would start requiring it as development was put in, they would have the infrastructure put in all at the same time. And now we've got this huge lag between what they allow in and the infrastructure. And you're right, now they're saying Well, just because we might someday,
50
and
years
we
from
might
now.
not someday, but we're gonna maybe plan it here, we're gonna allow the development. It just gets worse all the time.
Well, you make an area a transit priority area like University Avenue, even though there won't be a rapid transit bus there till 2035.
Right, and what are you gonna do with all those people that you put there that actually might need to depend on that transportation?
Yeah, exactly.
Just right. Well,
More parking.
it's a false notion that cars are gonna go away. And they're just gonna build hundreds and hundreds of units with no parking, and it's gonna become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just a kind of quick aside, the most livable city in the world right now is Vienna. And that's because they actually have public social housing owned by the city, and they have since for 100 years. Started when socialists took over the government in Vienna after World War I, and then after World War II again. And recently, they created a development near downtown Vienna. But the first thing they did, before they built anything, is they put in trolley stops. They actually built the trolleys, everything set up, and then they put in the housing. And that's why it's successful.
Yes.
Right, and they actually took out the main train station downtown Vienna to build housing. They put the train station somewhere else that was also very accessible. And so they're very smart about what they do, as opposed to, it's too expensive to build a trolley because we need riders before we can, build it. You build it, they will come. They put in all the infrastructure they needed, the fire station. And then they build the housing. And they don't pass back, which you build that housing and then you hope you get enough tax revenue that you can put in something. If you can't, oh well.
Yeah.
They used to do that. Freeway. It was like they would build a freeway and then people would go, oh, there's this nice freeway, let's build houses out there.
Yeah, right.
That's how they should do it.
Well, for a while, I lived in Oceanside, and 76, right, was a 2 lane highway. And then they expanded it. It was great for about 2 years because I could get to work, no problem. But then, because it went all the way back, they started building back by Bonsall, all these homes, and within 3 years, it was still like it used to be. Traffic jam. And so, that's a good example. If you build this stuff, then you can build things around the infrastructure. You shouldn't overburden it, which is what happened. But in any case, there's other models that San Diego could follow. So, you don't say this is a planned bus route, let's build all the homes and maybe eventually we'll get something there. You build it first and then it breeds success as opposed to failure, which is what we see so often. I'm what I call San Diego specials, which are about almost anything the city does these days.
What's really dangerous now too is, at least before when there was development, we would see a plan, we knew what the developer was doing.
Yeah.
Now with what's going on and this by right stuff, people are coming in with quote unquote a plan, but then they don't stick to their plan in any way, shape or form. It all changes based on funding they can get from Sacramento.
Yeah, well, the problem is what the city planning department says on planning, they basically allow developers to put it wherever they want. So you're gonna have this really mixed bag of development, high rises next to single family home, next to something else. And it's not planning.
No, it's not planning, it's lack of.
But you really just said, especially by right, and then it's just like whoever can afford to build it, stop planning. So
Okay.
enough of this.
We're going to be talking about this for about the next 3 to 4 years.
That's right.
And some of us are not even going to be on the board by the time this plan gets about. Some of us will not even be alive. So do we have all the changes, Laura, that we
We're
want to
gonna
make?
add protect single family residential homes. We're gonna take out specific parts. We're gonna make it much more general. And we're gonna add maintenance funding for our infrastructure.
Okay. And does everyone agree with that? I'm just going to do a roll call. We're going to our first meeting where we're going to talk about our vision statement tomorrow.
Something about transportation. Was that the infrastructure thing?
Oh.
Well, we've got transportation in.
Let's want to make sure the transportation is built before the housing's built or along with.
Oh, well, we have provided diverse and accessible housing opportunities throughout the community with more dense housing types near transit corridors and.
Yeah, but.
All those of transport.
Established.
Good, thank you.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, is that good?
And that's pretty much what we'll be taking.
Yeah.
tomorrow, the meeting, and then we'll report back to you.
Yeah, and just bear in mind that we're gonna be discussing this over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever,
You guys
we-
will see this a million times.
yeah, you'll be tired of seeing it by
You will.
the end of the first year. I'm
But what's
sure.
interesting is every meeting, new things come up and
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
so we'll
Yeah.
we'll bring stuff back. We're gonna have things for the subcommittee to work on, things for this group to talk about, and then go back each month for our meetings.
And we hope that word gets out to your communities so more people can get involved. And then we're talking about doing possibly Zoom meetings so people don't have to be in person. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow maybe.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
yeah. Okay, do I have a motion to approve with changes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Bob,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Danielle, Alita,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Lorna,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Approved. All right, we don't have a treasurer's report tonight.
That is the same.
I bet it's $75.
Yeah.
3 cents. What do you think?
No, might be in a high interest yield account.
I don't know.
4 cents less.
Okay, let's move on to approval of minutes for May. Changes, any changes?
I didn't see any.
Okay. Any changes? Motion to approve as is.
Second.
So Lorna, thank you. Bob,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Danielle.
Yes.
Oops, sorry, I lost my list. Alita.
Yes.
Jennifer. Kristen.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Lorna.
Yes.
John, you can't vote, you.
I was gonna
you-
say.
Okay, thank you. On to subcommittee reports. Let's work backwards tonight. Webster.
Put her on the spot.
Well, this past Saturday, we had a really nice event at Webster Elementary. We had a Troy's Community Climate Fair. It was the first, hopefully, of an annual one that we will do, and thank you, Lynn, for coming out to support. There were quite a few vendors that were there to talk about energy saving methods for your household. The whole thing was put on and supported by Groundwork and US Bank. But their SDG&E was out there, District 4 came out to represent. There was also some people from District 9, SDG&E, Audubon Society, Grid Alternatives.
Native Plant Society
Native
was
Plant
there.
Society, there was a really good group of vendors that were there. And a really nice flow of community members as well. And we got a lot of really good feedback from the event, so.
It was good, and yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I was blown away. I was hoping that there were maybe 30 or 40 people there, and it was very crowded. And it was great. Oh, and you should say you had urban pizza there as well, because.
We did. Free urban pizza.
And Bob,
That's something that we want to promote. That's a good thing about our community. We should get the word out on that, about how successful, and who everybody was.
Exactly, and those are things we would put up on our website too, to talk about our communities.
Excellent.
Yep, it was great. And Bob, I have a contact name for you from SDG&E.
You do? Okay, good.
I actually went over and talked to someone that Kristen
Oh,
introduced me
okay,
to
good,
about the
good.
tree canopy.
Yeah,
So I have
good.
some
About
information.
street light.
No,
Tree
tree canopy
canopy
on
for
University, about a bigger project. Yeah.
They did? Huh?
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, thank you. Bob.
Let's see. Last weekend, the RCC hosted and sponsored a cleanup at Clay Park. Promotion days tomorrow. We've been doing it, I think, maybe for 3 years now. And it was a collaboration with parents and teachers at the Clay Elementary and City Parks and Rec. And City Parks and Rec was great. They did a great job, provided tools, bags, trash pickers and things like that. And actually started cutting some of the weeds on the bank between the school and the park in advance. So everybody could rake down the banks. And it was sort of funny because I didn't, you never know how many people are going to turn out, but I would say we had 20 or 25 people, parents, their kids. And I had said to Joe, who works at Clay Park, you know what, why don't you bring paint? We paint benches and stuff like that if there's enough time or people want to do it. Well, people just sort of took off with the painting, painted all the benches, and then there's a gunite kind of wall along Salida and got into painting it. Of course, we ran out of paint, and so the plan is that the rest of it was going to get painted before tomorrow. So I haven't seen it, but I suspect it's done. But Joe and his team at the park were going to finish it up, and some of the teachers. So
Okay.
yeah,
Nice. Cool. Thank you.
Oh, and next Tuesday night is ice cream social. So and then Rolando goes dark for the summer months.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jennifer. Redwood Village.
Well, I think the only thing that we have is, maybe more appropriate to hear from you two, is the cleanup that Yolanda Park and Redwood Village participated in on Saturday morning. But
We cleaned up our new parkway. The pocket park that we'll have some days in.
where is it?
It's behind the dialysis place. There's a little postage stamp. And it's, that's an aspirational thing.
It's
It would be a perfect spot for one.
I'm going to pass it on to groundwork as a potential future
Yeah.
project because it is a city real estate asset. It's under review, which means who knows. But it's not big enough for anything. It's not big enough to build on, but why not turn it into a pocket park for Redwood Village? So
Yeah, so we group of people and organized by the league and we have, I don't know, we have
Bettina,
and Bettina. A bunch of people came out, we filled up some trash bags and Sir Hoskins is out there.
Yes, thank you, Terry.
Yeah, Terry helped us too. He did a great job. He was out there with a paint roller.
He was in his uniform out there, like all his gear, and he's shoveling and stuff like that. Stuff up.
Thank you,
I
Terry.
actually have green paint on my uniform now.
Oh,
of all
no,
things.
Terry.
Yeah, I'm a sloppy painter. I told people, I told Joe I was a sloppy painter and I am, so.
Yeah, I
it
was
fun.
concerned I was gonna go home with paint on myself too. Fortunately, we had those long poles that we were working with, so. I know.
And
Bob,
I also want to
Bob,
thank
I had
Robert-
that long pole and I still got paint all over me.
So thanks to Terry for showing up. John, we had a good crew, even though we were working in the rain. Basically, it was pretty
Yeah.
misty Saturday morning because we started early. And I also want to thank Roberto because one of his first tasks was to get a bin for us, which he did. They delivered it to the wrong side of the street. But we filled that bin.
Wow, you filled it? Wow.
Yeah,
that's
well,
great.
it wasn't a big one, but
Yeah,
still.
but even so.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I do also, I also want to thank Council Member Elo Rivera and his staff, Naveed Harris, because they came out for the cleanup too. So,
Yeah, I saw the picture. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Okay, thank you. Oak Park. 2 minutes or less. Somebody tell me something.
I'm gonna clarify this first because people were asking me, is Andy representing the library or because we don't care who.
I don't know. Whoever's from Oak Park gives an update. I don't
That's
care.
the library.
Anybody could do it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Between the Friends of the Library and Oak Park Council. But Oak Park Council, we had the meeting, a work group meeting today for the RFP for the new library. And I was pretty surprised that the city staff actually showed up and really showed it, in my opinion, really showed an interest in working with us and trying to finalize some of our points, and they also prioritize what is a must-have and so forth. Andy was there, so you can talk some more, Andy, on that.
Was there too.
And Alita's there too. I was there, but I had to leave early, so.
Well, the city staff, public library, director, Misty Jones, and her deputy director, Raul Godino, they, sent out an announcement to all of us that we were all invited to this meeting where it was to develop the RFP. This is the second time in the history of the city of San Diego that community has an opportunity to sit down with engineering and staff to develop an RFP. The first RFP that was developed collectively with the community was the San Isidro Library. We are the second to ever have the opportunity to do this. And this is, I'm letting you know so that we all have the same opportunity when other projects are being done, because that's how I believe that we are getting what we want for our library. It was an amazing meeting, as Andy can tell you, because we all shared, we all collaborated. And our wish list that we developed, that took us almost 2 years to develop the wish list. There's a lot of it that will be on the project, and some that, not everything is, it's gonna be. But our asking is there now. It's gonna take about a month to get it all done and approved and all that by us, because it's gonna take at least 2 more meetings with the friends of the library and community to revise the RFP. And at the very end, which is gonna be at the end of this month, I have been asked to ask this group, the Eastern Planning Group, if they could come and do a presentation, which is the director of the library, the engineering department, and all the city staff, so that Eastern Group can have the information directly from them. Now, I sent you an email.
I didn't get it yet.
Well, I sent you an email before I came to the meeting, because I will provide you, once it's accepted that they can be on the July meeting, I will send out everybody's contact information, the names of the persons that will be in the presentation, the titles, and also their departments, and how long it's gonna take for the presentation.
Yeah, it's just gonna be an information item again, though, right? Like last year. Okay. Okay, yep. Let me get the email, we'll see.
And thank you all for supporting our projects, because it's really important that we all.
Lynn, can I ask you a question?
Very quick, because we're at 9 o'clock, folks. We have El Cerrito update, and then let's get through the rest of this. 'Cause we have working people here.
Budget that I think, yeah, I'm one of them. That Bruce talked about, or someone else talked about tonight, the city's gonna give, was it 750 million? No, million? No, what was it? 1,000 for your library, for the Oak Park Library?
Yes.
No. The city has approved $250,000 for the library materials. For the libraries to get materials.
Equipment, you mean that?
No, it's materials.
Construction materials?
But wasn't the library short money?
Yes.
For building, because it took longer than when the original money came through, and so I thought that's what that money might be.
Yeah, I reported that last month regarding it. It was supposed to cost 20 million. And then inflation hit, so it went to 32 million.
Yeah. So it's 12 million short.
Well,
$12 million increase.
This was, this is what my staff gave me today. The mayor's made revision to the proposed budget. So this came out. The Oak Park Library, $451,880. coming from the crossroad tree development CIP fund.
Oh,
Another 300,000 from the library improvement trust fund, and it says funding is allocated to use project funding and to cover ineligible grant expenditure.
So what was the 400?
461,883, and it's going to come from the crossroads redevelopment. Yeah,
Which never really included that area.
yeah, I was gonna say.
It's for the park. That's like 12 million.
A grant application to the state of California for 10 million.
Yeah.
And another for another 5 million from the feds.
Yeah, okay, thanks, everyone. Let's move on. Thanks. Anything from El Cerrito? 2 minutes or less, please.
Couple quick things. Last month we had Gene Patton from the San Diego Environmental Stewardship Department give a presentation and information on using the green bins.
Mhm.
We actually had that the day before the actual delivery bin. It was useful. And so that was pretty good.
It's on our website.
And yeah, you can look at it, it's on our website. But then in 2 days, in fact, the next community meeting, we're going to have the candidates for the District 4 special primary election come. And Amy Reichert and Janessa Goldbeck joined talk. And I think you tried to contact Montgomery staff and she wasn't available. So it's 2 days, it'll be 7 o'clock if you want to come in.
And I'm gonna send everybody, I gave you all a flyer, I'll send you the flyer because it has the link you can click on to get us.
It's a Zoom?
It's a Zoom.
Okay.
And it should be interesting because this primary is coming up in 2 months. So we need to start knowing as much as we can about these people because there's so much going on with the county and the city collectively lately. It'd be good for us to know who we want to elect.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Thanks. That's,
talk to some
no,
of the
that'd be great.
candidates.
That's a good act. Thank you. Bob, University Avenue.
Yeah, I'll just make it really quick. I think, I don't remember whether we had met yet already or not last month, but we met with Martha Zapata before her retirement, John and I and Lynn. And she patched us in with a group that's interested in trees in Kensington. So, we'll see if there's some sort of synergy there. And then we learned that there isn't, our tree canopy project didn't make the cut for the budget. So, but we're not going to give up and we're looking at other opportunities for funding and things like that. And we had the opportunity to meet, be introduced to Roberto Marin at the city budget.
The budget forum.
Yeah, College Rolando Library. So, we're still moving forward and we'll see if there's any kind of funding with the climate action plan. There's money here in the mark.
Yeah, I got a response
Oh,
today.
did you? Okay.
Yeah, it's not good. We'll talk about it
Yeah.
next month. No, but one of the suggestions I got from the SDG&E person was that we should be talking to the CFAB group, citizens, and that we have a representative from District 9, appointed fairly recently, and we should be talking with them about getting it as a priority through them.
Okay, well, we'll do that.
And they didn't have trees, I'm sorry, they didn't have trees because they were giving away trees.
No, we're talking about 500 trees.
Oh, well, we got 100.
Yeah, 100. But why do they have a Cherokee Point and they have 400?
They had
trees
400. I didn't get an email back yet from Ben Mendoza. We'll find out about that.
Carolyn Chase keeps coming up with parks and trees and my contact her, she needs to be a planning commissioner. Because she has a lot of ins and outs and she might be able to help there.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
I'll send it.
Okay, thank you. Danielle, Parks and Recreation. Hey, can we move on, please?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. No, I
wanted to ask Mr. Bruce, did you know how much money is left in that crossroads account?
Yeah, I'd like to know how much is left in that Crossroads account.
When we developed got hatched way back 10, 15 years ago now. I didn't know there was any possibility left in the crossroads. The first time in decades that I've heard that, so it'd be really nice to know.
Yeah.
And what we can spend it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, probably something on that order.
Don't worry, we won't tell anyone else.
Yeah.
Thanks.
For the length.
Okay.
Danielle.
So it's already been understood during the meeting, Helena Rec Council met actually at the. What is that, so.
Oh, Union Hall. Union Hall.
Union Hall, thank you. The Union Hall of the Seminole, and we had our first meeting for the GEP update for Clay Park. We were a busy rec council in last month, and also later on the fifth week of last month, we met over at Azalea Park for the Federal Triangle, which is just west of Kentucky there. The topic at Clay Park, one of the big topics is where are we going to get a dog park since we can't put it. And for the Federal Triangle, personally, I was disappointed that they didn't find room for even a one stall. So as it comes towards Park and Rec Board, we know that Home Avenue, Charles Lewis Park is a long, skinny park. It has a restroom, but it's 4 times the size of the one that's supposed to be over on Federal Triangle. So the question is, we just have 1/4 the size of the restroom. Smaller Triangle Park, because they're proposing it as a pit stop between, all these trails all the way to the bay. Well, pit stop to me means stop. So, I was gonna ask the question at least one more time at the contact board. We at the board, this, I think in a couple of days, we're gonna be talking about our bylaw, and I made some contributions there, so you see, what actually sticks. And then lastly, this Saturday, our choice, the council is sponsoring the Juneteenth. It's the first time we're having it up in the amphitheater. The group that, the community actors group at the bottom, they've been having it at that location, but this is the first time it's actually. So.
Yes.
Come, please, so that it'll be another one of those first time events that hopefully will be an annual event.
It should be an annual event, and just so if anyone wants to know, Monica Montgomery Stepp confirmed that she will be there, and Dr. Akila Weber will also be there.
Very good.
Any
has questions?
Any at this point? I don't think so. Thank you. Mario, do you have any transportation things that can be summarized in about 30 seconds?
Nothing new that's important is gonna make a difference, so go ahead. That's it.
Okay, we'll have more time next month, I hope. Thank you. Laura, subcommittee update. I think we have to.
And then for CPC real fast, I sent you guys all information on the cannabis and the expansion that they want to do, and some of the concerns which were mentioned today during during the public comment. One of the things that also came up is how a lot of cities, Oregon, places in Oregon, San Francisco, are finding that the cannabis being so available is causing homelessness. There seems to be a direct correlation between people overusing drugs and ending up homeless, and alcohol and drugs, but cannabis being more and more accessible makes it part of the problem. And a lot of places are starting to see that connection. So it was interesting that she brought it up today. Number 2 was that they're talking about an equity plan for the city, and the equity plan seems to have a lot to do with CIP project financing. And I think you've all heard how they plan to take DIP fees from other areas of the city and to put them in a big pot and divvy them up based on what they think needs to be done. It's causing some problems, partly because a lot of the northern areas were planned communities. They have paid not just they paid what's called Mello-Roos fees in addition to their mortgages and stuff, and they paid the Mello-Roos fees for their streets, for their parks, and now they're being told that their DIF fees and all these other things, which they've already paid in excess of, or the developers paid, have their people pay in excess of for the Mello-Roos fees. they're feeling really kind of like they're getting their pockets picked. And so I don't know how that's all going to work.
That's it. We'll see.
We'll see.
Thank you. It's been an interesting night. Once again, apologies about the technical difficulties. Hopefully tomorrow, next month, we'll be back in our regular meeting rooms. So it should go a little better. Plus there won't be 200 people trying to get on the internet. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Hey, bud.
Being patient.
What is your?
Next Tuesday.
From when to when?
6 to, starts at about 6 to 7:30. Yeah, and it's at the Union Hall.
What I'm gonna say, I'm gonna get hold of it. After the meeting, I'll come over tomorrow and get you.
Yeah, there you go.
Community update. Anyway.
So it would take all.
Good night.